For this lesson, we're going to start looking at using percent equations. And a percent is always a part over our whole, which would equal our percent. And for this, we want just our part to equal something. So I can multiply by my whole if I was to solve for my percent on both sides. So that I'm just left with that our part equals my percent times the whole. And this is what our percent equation looks like. So we're going to have find 62% of 75. And it's very similar to our last section that we did where we're looking at what number is 62% of 75. And so my part I'm unsure of because I don't know what that 62% is. So we're going to call that X equals, and then I'm going to change my 62% into a decimal. So I'm going to have 6.62 times that 75, because if I also look at my equation, I have 62 of means multiply, 75. And when I multiply those together, I'm going to get 46.5. So 46.5 is 62% of 75. Let's take a look at another example. We're going to find whatever the 60% of 96 is. So I have 0.6 times 96, and that's going to all be equal to X. And there's my multiplication sentence. So 6% of 96 is 57.6. So X equals 57.6. 287 is what percent of 410? So 287 equals, because is tells me equals, what percent, and I don't know what that percent is, of 410. And then I'm just going to solve for my variable. So to do that, I would have to divide by 410 on both sides. And I would get 0.7 equals X. And now I need to turn this into a decimal, or turn this into a percent because it's in a decimal still. So I'm just going to move my decimal over 2 places to make that 70%. So go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try this one on your own. So I'm going to have that I have 15 equals what percent, I don't know that percent, times, for of, 125. I'm going to divide by 125 on both sides. And I'm left with X equals 0.12. And then I need to change that into a percent, so I'm going to get 12% because I'll move my decimal to the right 2 places. 18 is 30% of what number? So I'm going to have 18 is, and I know that it's set up as 18 equals because is tells me equals. 30% can be rewritten as 0.3 of what number? I don't know what that number is, so we're just going to call that X. I'm going to divide by 0.3. So X is going to be 60. Go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to solve 79 is 80% of what number by yourself. So I'm going to have 79 is means equals 80%, so 0.8 of what number? I'm going to divide by 0.8 on both sides. I'm going to get that X equals 98.75. Scott wants to buy a digital video recorder that costs $250. If the sales tax is added, what is the total cost? So I need to figure out what is 6% of that $250, because that's going to be what my tax is. So I'm going to have 250 times his tax. And that's going to be what the total tax that needs to be added on. And this is how it works whenever you buy anything at any store or restaurant or anything and you have to add a tax to it. So I'm going to multiply by 0.06, and then 250 of that times 6% is 15. So now I know that my tax is added to whatever my original cost is. So I'm going to have 250 plus my tax of 15. So I'm going to get that it's going to cost him $265.